coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a very good morning wherever you are. Let's see, we got Bestie in here. She was first. Good to see you. Then we have Nancy and TC. Welcome, TC. Then we got Joan and Voss. Good morning. And did I see? Yeah, Georgie's mom is in here. Good morning. Good morning. And Native Pride is in here this morning. Good morning. Vikings game in 10 minutes? This early? Really? Wow. But welcome, everyone. I am pulling up my little control room. Let me get that open so I can make any changes. I slept in this morning. I slept in. I was up late because little man had homecoming, and he needed me to pick him up and drop him off. He had a good time. He was not used to being up that late. Oh my God, some of you parents out there, you let your daughters dress as little hoes. I swear, some of the things these girls were wearing, I was like, holy shit. Is this a homecoming dance or am I going to pay for a lap dance? Whatever. You do you. It's your parenting, not mine. But it was funny because I taught probably earlier in the year taught my son how to tie a tie, and he couldn't exactly remember, but I said, okay, well, you're going to do it, and I had mine. And I was showing him how to tie it, and You could tell that he had done it before because he didn't have any problems with the first one that he did. So, there's certain things that a dad needs to teach. So that was fun. Um, I'm still laughing. Like, whew. Some of these girls, I don't even think those were homecoming dresses. I was like, okay, that's just tight. That's just tight and revealing. Uh, maybe it was a homecoming dance, right? Right. I mean, okay. But the good thing was I had entertainment. I was watching the ICE protests on X, and holy shit, was that funny! It was Portland and Chicago who had the biggest protests, and oh, were they ever arresting people? And I was like, "Yep, I voted for this." Um, and the military is not even there. For those of you who don't know, uh, Trump. Um, what is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, Trump is sending the military into Portland. Portland's already in the last round of protests. They set fire to a federal courthouse, and this time they've been just harassing ICE. And it's like, oh, okay, you want to play stupid games? You can win these stupid prizes. Xi Jinping wants Trump to oppose Taiwanese independence. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Good morning, Rickles. Rick, friend, good morning. Jeanette, good morning. Sharon, good morning. Gary, good morning. Have I gotten everyone? Bama beat dogs. I was watching the end of Penn State, Oregon. So I watched Ohio State yesterday because my family's we're all Ohio State fans, and I watched Penn State and Oregon, and I was not a believer that of Penn State. I thought they were ranked too high without having proven themselves. And I always say this: I am against preseason rankings. And even with Ohio State being, number one or number two, I'm against it. I think none of these rankings should come out until they're like third or fourth week because there's always these teams that get exposed. Hold on one second. It is chilly here. It's in the 60s this morning. So I'm gonna put my sweatshirt on. And today I'm making sourdough bread. I've been working on the starter uh, for over a week. So it should be nice and bubbly. Yeah, we had rain yesterday. I went outside and I videoed the thunderstorm for you guys. Hope you saw that. There's some good lightning towards the end. Both my teams won yesterday. Who are your teams? Bama and who else? Trump can't worry about Taiwan. He's too busy sending billions to Ukraine and Netanyahu. Well, I mean, I think he should be doing every single thing he can to end the Ukrainian war. I think at this point, um, it would behoove Russia to end that war. Take the land that you've gotten. Because the thing is, everyone's like, Russia's our enemy. Not really. When I was there, when I was in Russia, everyone was super, super nice to me the moment they found out I was American. Um, but I will say this: the the only people really trying to take things from Russia is China. There's land that Russia gained under Tsarist Russia that China would love to take back. Love to take back. Uh, there are areas along the Manchurian Peninsula that, yeah, Russia has that used to be Chinese. Uh, Rory McIlroy is refusing to play in the Ryder Cup amid slurs about wife and love life. Okay, don't play. See if that bothers us. Like, channel meme. Wait, what was that? Channel meme news. Good morning. 75 degrees in Marblehead. Oof, it's cold here. Illinois had a great game. I did watch that one. Um, like I had that one on. It really Illinois just was the better team. USC had its moments, but they're in a down year. Uh, USC, it's like every 4 years they have a great team. USC is one of those teams that uh, is when they have an off year, they're overrated. There's a couple teams like that: Notre Dame, USC, Michigan, Tennessee. I'm trying to think who else. Florida. Um, I mean, Florida was a case of that this year. That it's just like they get the preseason rating because of who they are, not because they're actually good. And I don't think it should be like that. I don't think there should be any rankings before week 3 or week 4. I'm okay at week 3 because there's still those teams that they don't really play anybody until week 4, but they get there's enough of them that get exposed at week 3. Like here we are, week 4, and Penn State clearly was not number 2. They played pretty good against Oregon, but you were at home. It was a whiteout. Uh, you should have beat them in regulation. Instead, you lost in overtime. Clemson, it used to be that way with Clemson. I'll tell you here recently, uh, it hasn't been this year though. I think Clemson definitely, but I think Clemson, I think we're gonna see how they are. They're a team that doesn't start well, but always finishes well. Ohio State, flip side, starts well, normally finishes badly. Um, so yeah, and I'm sorry for those of you who are like, I don't like college football. What are we talking about this for? Uh, 64 near Nashville. Well, welcome, Channel Meme News. At this point, what does anyone care about sports and athletes? It's all bread and circus. I mean, that's you're welcome to have that opinion. I like my teams, which my Tigers clinched for the playoffs. I guess the way you feel about that is kind of like how I feel about like fashion and celebrities. I really don't give a shit. I'll act like I do, but I don't give a fuck. Hey, Coop. Uh, Coop and me were both watching D Spills the Tea this morning. She was going through, and you should check out her channel and subscribe to her channel. She was doing Felisa's court records, so that was pretty interesting. Wasn't incredibly long too. One thing I haven't talked about was about these 275 FBI agents who were at January 6th. First off, that is complete and total bullshit. Many of us were saying they were there for the last 4 years, and we kept getting gaslit and told, no, no, no. Well, yeah, now we know they were there. And here's the thing: that is actual FBI agents. What we're not being told now is how many CIs were there. And I guarantee you, as we start looking into this, you're going to find out these were the people who did the uh like instigating actions. Like the guys, I 100% believe the guys that built the gallows were FBI agents. I've seen the pictures. Like I believe those were government agents. And that is not the role of FBI agents or CIs, is to be instigating. And this is what we found in the Jennifer Whitmer trial, the kidnapping trial, was that the radicals, these extremists who are apparently doing all this stuff, yeah, they're not the ones actually doing it. It's the CIs and the undercover agents who are instigating this stuff. And that is illegal. That's entrapment. Oh, Nancy, you watched it? Good, good. Yeah. Give D some love. Leave a comment and a like. Good morning, double camera. How close is Georgie to 2K? I know she's right there. I'm right there at 6,400. Did you hear about Vomit's interview with? Yes, I did. uh I was laughing about, like, how stupid are they? Like like Paint Chip should know. He was an attorney. Like, they are that's breaking the CPO. They're gonna go to jail. Like, that's what they're doing. They're trying to put those two in jail. Oh, Gretchen Whitmer, not Jennifer. Sorry. Who was Jennifer Whitmer? Was she wasn't she like New Jersey something? But yeah, we heard all about, oh yeah, there was this plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. And uh yeah, they made all these arrests, and a couple people took they took what's it, plea deals. But then two guys said, no, we're not taking that plea deal. We didn't do anything. And it went to jury trial, and we found out, oh yeah, that was all the FBI informants. Thank you, Georgie, for the $10.
I like money.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do appreciate it. In fact, I'm gonna put your comment up because you give me money, your comment automatically gets showed. That's the rule. I interviewed Radix Berman, who made a documentary about the Whitmer Fednapping plot. Um, if you can put a link to that in the chat, I'll pin it. 120 subs to go, Mike. One oh, is that how close Georgie is? She's gonna make it. She's gonna get there. Georgie never sends me chats. When I go into other people's streams, I don't always do it, but I do try to send them a super chat or super sticker, just to get people. Hey, let's get to sending these people. I also tell people hit the like and thumbs up. Dem Governor Mikey Sherrill, yeah, she had her DoD information released from the National Archives and from the VA. Well, actually, I believe that would be from the National Archives, not the VA. And how they got access to her SSN without her permission. Well, they would have gotten. You can get someone's SSN. Um, what was what was the thing though was they released too much information. That would have been the National Archives, and I love how they're blaming Trump. It's like you do realize the National Archives, they're the ones who set Trump up, and we're in the back and forth about what documents Trump could have, and was working with the FBI to try to get Trump arrested. Suddenly now it's all the National Archives, all these Trump shills. Um, but one thing we did learn is Cheryl was not allowed to walk at her Naval Academy graduation. We also learned that she lied about stuff. So, case of stolen valor. I think at this point, uh, it sucks that they released her stuff, but you do run that risk. I run that risk. Any one of you could go and try to get my information, and they could screw up and give my information. And that's the problem of the uh, the government. Uh, you know, Long Beach VA, they were throwing away people's documents with personal information. It was all found in a dumpster. Like, that's not how you're supposed to dispose that. AVA's in here this morning? I didn't see him. I'm sorry. Oh, there he is. Good morning. Good morning. Um, Speaking of AVA, he's bringing fans to the show. There, we now have confirmation, okay, folks, that people at his VA who've been targeting him are now watching Veteran Nation. So, good morning if you're watching from uh, the Sacramento VA. How about you stop harassing veterans? Um, let's see. The National Weather Service is at its breaking point as storm approaches. Staffing cuts under Trump administration mean forecasters are struggling to maintain normal operations. Well, they weren't that good when they were fully staffed. So, is it really a problem? There's storms coming. Okay, we know. Oh, look, in Cuba, hunger and homelessness on the rise. I'm surprised. I'm sure people are probably going to jump in and tell me how it's not really communism and it's just a dictatorship because communism is always a dictatorship. Always. I love the one guy where he was, or people had asked, they were like, "Hey, when communism takes over, what do you plan to do?" And one was like, "Oh, I plan to teach courses about teach courses about biology and farming from my farm." And the first comment was, "My farm?" I bet the sheriff does nothing about Lynette and John. Um, it's 50-50. I'd say it's 50-50 at this point. Th- Only because Jeremy now has a lawsuit, and you're starting to see CPS take notice now of Lynette and John because it's they fucked with someone with the means. If I were to sue, most people wouldn't care. If I were to sue my sheriff, most people wouldn't care, or my DA. But if I had Jeremy money, yeah, they fucked up. He's got the means to sue, and he's suing for 9 million. And you know what? I'm gonna say this: he's gonna get at least 1.5 because he's gonna get all of his legal fees back. And I guarantee you, they're gonna look to settle. They do not want to go into a courtroom. There's too much. Yeah, here you go. Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci crash fashion show to film Devil Wears Prada 2. I don't care. Don't care. Don't give a shit. Your security person fell down. Everything the admin is doing right now is being done to distract us from Epstein and the Kirk assassination cover up. I mean, I I've been saying for a while that I thought Epstein was Mossad, and James O'Keefe has the CIA agent saying that uh, Epstein was a CIA agent. Very, very plausible. 100% I can believe that. 100% I can. I do want to thank all the people who are watching on Patriot 911 News on X. Let's see right now. We got 27 people over there currently. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you guys being there. Make sure you follow Patriot 911 News. Good people over there. I like talking with them. Um, a Russian sub at risk of explosion in Mediterranean after fuel leak. Okay, interesting. Yep, we're going to be doing military strikes in Venezuela. Um, hey, they do smuggle drugs. I don't I'm not big on the war with drugs, but I think Venezuela aids the drug dealers. We did eventually win the drug war in Colombia, longest civil war ever, and it was eventually won. I thought that would never end because it started with communists and um, capitalists, but then it turned into government and cartel. I think Kirk's demise was an inside job. Okay. Wyatt Earp, welcome, welcome. Tug said 5 p.m. he'll do an interview video tonight. Oh, he'll show the interview video. Uh, guess my mags are blocked. Oh, you're MAGA. I'm sorry. I'm I'm using a uh, I bought a bigger screen, and sometimes it puts things really small, so then it pixelates differently. So yeah, MAGA looked like mags. uh, which I do have to laugh because guns, like, it is not a good time to be a gun control person because the courts are boom, boom, boom. We're about ready. By June, we will have, or by end of June, we will have another landmark gun case, guaranteed, guaranteed, possibly two. Uh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, straying from Trump. Okay. Some of these things that they say, it's like Clarence Thomas has said that precedent might not determine Supreme Court cases. And someone is saying gay marriage could be the one. Okay, the court is going to weigh in on same sex marriage. Um, I think gay marriage should be the same way as abortion. It should be every state should just determine that. And if one state votes for it, all the states have to go along with it. Um, I also think, like, I always liked civil unions. I always said governments just need to get out of the marriage game. It's too religious. It's just too divisive. Just say, you know what? All we're now just going to call them all civil unions. If you want to get married, you do that in the church, but we are going to consider it a civil union. Then it takes the religious aspect out of the political realm. I don't care if two people want to have a civil union. I used to say I thought civil unions great. I could see where two divorced women could go into a civil union and it not be a sexual relationship. Um, it just be two people who rely on each other for a standard of living. And, there you go. I knew two brothers who were both elderly. One was a widower and they relied on each other. And when the one died, the other one, he had to go into a nursing home because he didn't have his brother's benefits. So I've always been on the side of civil unions. I Marriage, like when you say marriage, it's a religious thing, and it comes with a lot of that stuff. So that was the way I felt about it, and still do. You want to get married? I really don't care. Marriage license should be renewable instead of having to pay out the ass to get divorced. You know, hey, I'd have no problem with that. You know, I'd have no problem with that. And just yeah, and we're just not going to renew. And then the divorce, you'd have to go through your church or whatever, or a church to get a divorce. You know, because, and if you think about how many things change if you take the government out of the if you take the government out of the religious game, like there are college students, Mormon college students, who travel to Vegas, get married, bang all weekend long, and then go get a quickie divorce, just so they can say that they're not having sex outside of marriage. Like, I don't think when you're playing these loophole games with God, I don't think that's a good thing. That's just me. And like for me, I worked at my marriage way longer than I should have. And I know that. And I knew it at the time. I was working towards something that was clearly done, but I had obligations that I wanted to meet. And again, I talk about my PTSD. I talk about, I always have to look in the mirror and I have to like the guy that's looking me back. And for me, I was like, yeah, this marriage, it's completely fallen apart, but I'm going to be there trying to work it out because one, I made a commitment to God, and two, I have a child. And, you know, when it was very clear, it was like, okay, this cannot be rebuilt. That's when I was like, okay, I'm done. And that's just how, okay, I'm done. If she ever wants to come back and rebuild it, okay. But I knew that wasn't going to happen. But again, I can look myself in the mirror and know uh, I gave every effort I could to making it work. Yeah, every license you get is renewable except the marriage license. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Me and my gal have been together for 12 years and we're not married. We are very happy. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm never going to get married again. I'm not going to say that. I may. It's I'll be smarter in my marriage. I will say that. Um, but you know, I do wish I had more kids. I love being a dad. I love being a dad. In fact, I if there was a woman who was like, "Hey, let's just have kids together," and it was a good mom, I would be 100%. A lot of these people are like, you're single. Why don't you find somebody?" Because I'll tell you where I live is there's more men than women, and uh, there's a lot of these women who they get a lot of male attention, and it causes them to just not be good moms, to be honest. They, they bring a rotating thing of men through their door. Their kids are seeing it. Like, if you want to be a hoe, you want to go through your hoe phase, you go right ahead and do you. Don't let your kids see it. Don't, you're doing damage to your children. And there's tons of studies that show that. It sucks that it's a male woman thing. It sucks for women, but it's true. It is true. Um, and your kids need a strong male figure in their life. And the more committed you are to that person, the better your kids are going to turn out. More than women should appeal to a Marine. Well, that's the thing. There's like I've seen so many guys like in my age, like 30s and 40s, get divorced here. And it's because these women they're getting attention from, you know, Marines in their 20s. But and they think, "Oh, yeah, my guy doesn't treat me this way. He does this." And then they go and they end up with these guys who these guys are not committed to them. They're not going to be committed to them. They're just, you know, yeah, they're looking to have fun. And that and I've seen it play out so many times. Like these women go and they divorce and now they're finding themselves and a year later they're depressed because now no man really wants them. I mean, you can find someone to have some fun with, but that's as far as it's going. There, women, um, women gatekeep sex, men gatekeep relationships, and that is the truth. Been in marriage 27 years, been very over a very long time. No matter what you do, it's never enough for some people. That's true. Some people, yeah. Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell, they're married over 35 years. Yeah. And if that's what works in your relationship, by all means, do that. Do that. Marines out there just looking for mommy. No, there's a lot of Marines I know. They're just looking for a warm place to sleep at night, if you know what I mean. Um, and this is where women they're like I've seen Marines pull down girls who I think were legitimate, 9 or 10, and then the next night pull down a woman who is, you know, at least a 2.5, pushing 300 pounds. And women are like, guys, yeah, there are guys like that. There and it's a lot of this, it's because of, they say toxic masculinity. Um, a lot of what women call toxic masculinity is not toxic masculinity. Like a man being protective over a woman, it's not toxic. However, they will chase guys because he has a beard. It's like any guy can grow out a beard. Well, almost any. There's a couple guys who can't, but like that's not masculinity. Like anybody can do that. Any guy can wear flannel. Can that guy fix something? You know, Uh, ladies, you want to know if a guy is good on a first date, okay? Pull your car over and put a flat tire on your car and call him and say, I got a flat tire. Can you come help me change it before our date? And if he comes and changes your flat tire, you got somebody who can fix something. You know, it's and there's a lot of these men with these false sense of masculinity that these women are chasing. It's like, oh yeah, these are the guys that are going to leave you. These are guys that are going to treat your kids like shit, their kids like shit. Um, like for me, the biggest turn on, uh, on the single scene for me is she a good mom? That's the first thing I'm looking at. Is she or will she be a good mom? 100%. Because at the end of the day, when you're together and the romance, is you got job, you got kids, the romance isn't always there because the romance will not always be there. Uh, if they're a good parent, you have a strong foundation that you can build off of. If your dad doesn't have a beard, you really have two moms. Okay. Uh, but yeah, and like I see these women like I laugh about my ex because the guy that she cheated and ran off with uh has a motorcycle. Or at least he did. I'm pretty sure he sold it. And like she would go on the motorcycle rallies and I laughed my ass off because I was like, first off, he's got the motors like he got so screwed in his divorce because there were things that he wanted and the motorcycle was one of them. It's like, dude, uh, yeah, for me, like my toys are like things that like me and my son can use together. There's a reason people have asked why I don't move closer to like Lake Havasu or the river. It's because I'll buy a boat. I know me. I'll buy a boat and I don't need to spend that type of money. Um, but like we've got our little toys here and it's stuff that me and my son can enjoy together. Um, you're not going to see me with a motorcycle or what are the other faux masculine things that guy like. I'm not a big hunter. Like I'll go hunting. I love fishing. But yeah, you're not gonna see me blow thousands of dollars on hunting. I'm trying to think what are other things that Like if I put money, it's into gaming stuff, and again, it's more for my kid than me. Um, I'm trying to think. What are the other toys that you see guys? Oh, like an off-roading Jeep. Like, oh, I have to have a Jeep. Okay. You, I see that a lot out here. And I'm just like, yeah, no. Like when stuff like that will appeal to me, I'll look at it and then I'm like, yeah, but think of the things that I wouldn't, if I bought that, what things would I not be able to get for my son? And that's where it comes down to. I would much rather provide for my children. Um, and there's a lot of guys who don't think that way. A lot of Marines I came across that didn't think that way. That's me. Now, I'm not saying that guys who do stuff like that, everybody needs their ability to blow off steam. Whether it's you go play golf, or if you play video games, um, and that's one thing women don't understand. Guys need uh guy time. They do. And however that if your guy likes to play Madden with his buddies, let him go play Madden with his buddies. Be like, hey, you go play Madden with your buddies. Please just limit it to X amount of time. Um, but just know that he needs that. They do. Uh, I prank phone called my neighbor when CBs were the thing one date. Married 4 months later, been happily married 4 years. A left truck with oversized wheels and a fake sack hanging off the back. Yeah, guys will get like, I want a truck. I don't want a big ass truck. I want like little like Ford Ranger S10. Right now they're just super overpriced. That's why I won't buy one. Uh, but I want that to move stuff. Like there are times I need a truck. I don't want a truck because like I knew guys who would like buy a truck and spend all this money in it, and then, oh, I can't. Hey, can you help me move this? Oh no, that'll scratch up my truck. It's like, why do you have a truck then? Just get yourself a car. Get yourself a minivan. And I'll tell you this, I would absolutely drive a minivan. Hell yeah, I would. And as long as it has the things I need to be able to move stuff, I definitely would. Got married in the service, received comrades, off base housing. She stayed in another state. I lived in captain's quarters of old ship and ate in the base cafeteria. Lasted 2 years. Yep, that's you'll see a lot of that around military bases. Yep, yeah, you will see that. There's a lot of toxic relationships that happen in the military, and they blame like it, the military is a macho culture. They will blame toxic masculinity. That's not all that it is. It's a part of it. Absolutely is. Um, and the problem I have with that is you'll see these guys in the military that the military gets very set on promoting. And it's like, this guy is faking the funk. Like he's an absolute mess. Glory bunched up my blanket. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, she bunched up my blanket. uh, but yeah, like you'll see this stuff. I wish I used the flat tire trick when I married my husband. He's honest, faithful, and sweet, but he can't do anything handy. Well, hopefully you didn't chase him for any faux masculinity. Like, oh, he's got a thick beard. You guys remember when I had my beard and it was like all full? Um, it's funny because when I shaved it, I shaved it clean off, and I always go where my office is next door. There's a restaurant, and when I go to that restaurant, there's a laundromat right there because military people need laundromats, and there's a Filipino lady who works in there. So I'm sitting outside and I'm waiting for my food, and this woman pops her head out and she's like, my coworker doesn't think you are you. And I said, what? And like this Filipino lady, she sticks her head out. She's like, that's not your dog. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And she's like, no, 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 that's not your dog. That belongs to an old man. He's got the beard. And I go, that's me. I shaved it off. And she goes, you look so much younger without the beard. She goes, like 20 years. Anyone who thinks the military is a masculine culture have never seen the Space Force. You need to grow the beard back. My mom hated the beard. Not as much as she hated the little, when I grew the goatee out with the little thing, the Fu Manchu. She really hated that. I made her day when I let her cut that off. You can watch that video. Oh, we got people watching on Rumble. Thank you. Thank you. We got people watching on Facebook. Thank you. Appreciate you guys being here. And I'm taking a look because it doesn't. Oh, we got like 50 people watching on X. Thank you. It doesn't tell me the X stats here. So yeah, we got a nice little group watching. Um. Yeah, I always like what Rodney. I love kids. I like what Rodney Dangerfield always said about kids. The best part about kids is making them. I need to put that on the soundboard.
No, no.
um. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I mean, the whole gay marriage thing about the Supreme Court. Don't just circling back to that. I really don't care. I really don't care. I think there's a better way of doing it, but I really don't care. Um, three dead, 8 injured. What is this? I gotta. This probably is not going to come up for me because it's a New York Times article. Oh, it's New York Post. I'm sorry. 3 dead, 8 injured after gunman on boat opens fire on crowd at Dockside, North Carolina restaurant. Person of interest detained. Where was this at? A marina on Oak Island, approximately 5 miles west of the scene at. Okay, and this was at the Southport Yacht Basin. At the American Fish Company. City of Southport. I don't know where that is. Is that near Wilmington? My family's always like, let's go to the Outer Banks. I won't go to the Outer Banks. It's just it's not easy for me to travel to. There is no big airports in South Carolina and North Carolina. That was the problem I had traveling to South Carolina. And I thought that would be easier because at least I had Atlanta and Savannah, close enough. But I ran into that whole issue with the rental cars. North Carolina, yeah. NFL Dublin game descends into chaos as Steelers player jumped and robbed. The Steelers' preparations for their game in Dublin took a worrying turn Friday night after one of their players was jumped and robbed on a night out in the Irish capital. Pittsburgh is taking on the Vikings at Dublin's Crook Park as part of the NFL's International Series. See a record 7 games played abroad. Skylar Thompson was left with minor injuries after being a victim of a robbery Friday night. Thompson, who was already on IR with a hamstring injury, is said to be okay following the ordeal. They're not saying what type of injuries. They just say nothing to his face. MAGA coming for the WNBA. Okay, let's read this article. The nation's most prominent and most politically active women's pro sports league is on the collision course with Donald Trump. Okay, Um, they've partnered with groups like Planned Parenthood and Gesslin, an LBGT youth organization. Players went so far as to wear Black Lives Matter. Here's the thing: no one gives a shit about WNBA. Like, I really don't think Trump cares. Like, no one cares. No one watches WNBA. It stinks. You know what WNBA should do? Bring in trans men so it actually becomes watchable. That's what they should do. Like, no one cares about the WNBA. Don't you love how all these articles bashing Trump are things he will do or might do or things he's considering? Like, just stop. That's just TDS, and they're trying to stoke up the fear. Caden Spite is in deep doo-doo for kidnapping hoax. Oh yeah, yeah. Absolutely. As he should be. It- you want to pull off that Jesse Smollett shit? Yeah, you go to jail. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no one gives a shit about the WNBA. I don't. I'm just glad. Here's the thing: the WNBA. I'm glad that ugly women get a thing. Uh, and what's this? Bob Iger, Hollywood statesman, gets a political education. This one's from the Wall Street Journal. Like many CEOs, Disney boss tried to avoid President Trump's ire even as he took heat from talent agents and stars for pulling Jimmy Kimmel. No, he didn't try to. He didn't try to avoid Trump's ire. In fact, in 2020, he doubled down. He thought Trump would never win. He was one of these dummies who was like, "Yeah, Trump will never win again. He was impeached. They'll never vote him in again." It's like, you guys are retards. You are retards. All it did was take MAGA and make them more determined. That's what you did. And Iger was one of those. And with his whole lawsuit of Florida, which he lost and lost millions. Like Iger is probably the dumbest CEO. They had such a perfect situation in Florida. They were a special district. They were a company that was allowed to have its own special district. Imagine that. A company that can charge its own taxes, levy its own fines and fees. That's what they had. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna expand this political operation," and DeSantis was like, "Yeah, no, you're not. Guess what? We looked the other way for a long time, which is the big problem. Our government looking the other way." Um, Bob Iger's phone was buzzing. Message was clear. You made a mistake. Agents like Creative Arts were warning Disney and top lieutenants taking Jimmy Kimmel off the air damaged his legacy and his company's reputation. Top talent, they said, we're considering not working with Disney. That won't last long. Um, Michael Eisner is running Disney when Kimmel started, said on X, where's all the leadership gone? Like, all these people said Trump was behind the thing. No, he wasn't. And that the fact that Kimmel was put back on so quickly shows you that Trump and the FCC were not a part of the decision. It was all the affiliates. 100%. Disney was a perfect example of what fascism looks like. That I will agree with you 100%, TC. Yeah, 100%. And it's wrong. And they should have been removed from that. Like, and it's not just Disney who did that. The villages also did the exact same thing. They got sued, and or they didn't get sued. They got taken down by the IRS. And that was gonna happen if Disney was gonna keep on that path. That was gonna happen to them. That's all these people who were like, "Oh, Iger's gonna own DeSantis." Like, you weren't looking at that from a legal aspect. You were only looking at it through a political lens. When people look through things through a political lens, it definitely obfuscates it. DOJ seeks information on Georgia DA who prosecuted Trump. So this Fannie Willis. Yep, it's Fannie Willis. Again, now that this is absolutely correct in how things should go. The Democrats had they had an enemy list and they were going after it after 2020, and now with Comey being indicted, um, Fannie Willis will probably be indicted for abuse of position and process. Perfectly fine to do that. Again, if you didn't want it, you probably shouldn't have went down this road. You probably should have said, you know what, we're not going to keep going after Trump, even after he left office. But they thought, oh, if we indict him, he won't come back. Here's the thing, like you learn in the military, when you set up an ambush, you leave your enemy a way to escape. You make sure they take heavy losses as they do, but you always leave them a way to escape. Because if you surround them and you make them fight to the death, they will fight to the death because you've given them no other option. That's what they did with Trump. They came at him from all sides, and he had to fight to the death. And that's what MAGA did. And that's why we're in the position we are today. We should do a show again today. After this, I'm probably going to be all streamed out. Next weekend, we can talk about whatever you want next weekend. We can bring a guest on. I've kind of talked with a couple people that I've been talking with. Some people are just very uncommittal. It happens. I mean, you got to think about this. We had Mindy Robinson on. I'd been talking with Mindy about coming on the show for a year and a half. Sometimes that's the way it is. Doing these shows, people don't realize even when you do a show that you don't prepare a lot for, you still have to put in preparation work. Now, sometimes I'll get a guest who's like, hey, can I come on tomorrow? And I'm like, fuck yeah. By all means, let's come on. Those are my favorite guests. You should be having more sex and other myths debunked. This is in the Wall Street Journal. Growing body of research is finding that some of the most commonly held beliefs about sex are wrong. A young newlywed couple confided to me that he's worried about his sex life. I know we're supposed to do it at least every other day, but we can't keep it up. I mean, you got to find a happy medium between you and your partner. Sexual literacy problem in our culture, says Justin Garcia, executive director. I love how some of these people have taken certain things. Like, do you guys remember the Kentucky Fried Movie? And it was a record, and it was like um, a guide to happy marital sex, and it's talking them through foreplay, and it's this couple and they're undressing and like kissing each other and everything, and the record's telling them what to do, and it's like, now it's time for penetration, and like the guy moves, and then you hear, uh-oh, premature ejaculation affects most men. That's why this album comes with Big Jim Slade, former defensive back for the Kansas City Chiefs, and this big dude comes in through the door and picks up the woman. And there are people now in today's world who are like, oh, that's how we should live. It's like, oh my God. Georgie, get on stream with Mike. I'm thinking I'm actually going to be ending this because I've already gone an hour. But yeah, like, no matter how much sex we're having, we think we should be having more. This notion is false. Have as much as you two each need. Keep fantasies to yourself. Almost everyone 7% of the population reports having sexual fantasies. Has says sometimes caution people against sharing them with a partner, warning it could create unnecessary conflict or even doom with the relationship. You have to trust your partner. I'll say that. Um, in my marriage, I had confided in things, um, even sex things, that were later used against me. And that broke down trust on my side very quickly, very early in the relationship. Um, so yeah, you know, a relationship is more about trust than it is about sex. But trust, if you're having sex with your partner, you should trust them. If not, you just have a F buddy, not really a relationship. And that's what I wish most women would understand about men. Just because you're having sex with them doesn't mean you're leading to a relationship with them. It's not. Same thing, withholding sex is not going to improve. I have yet to see where withholding sex has ever improved an actual relationship. If it's a F buddy, it's just going to be done. If you do have a relationship with them, um, you're just gonna hurt your relationship. Like nothing beats communication. Uh, all right, that's all the big stories. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this and get going for the day. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate all of you being here. Appreciate your comments. Hit the like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell more people about this. If you're not subbed, sub. If you're on one of the other platforms, sub on another platform for me. It does help me out. I do appreciate those who are subbed on multiple platforms. In fact, if you want notifications, Rumble will give you the best notifications. I always get my Rumble notifications. I did get a YouTube notification today, but that's not, I don't always get that. So, yeah, we are on Rumble. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Patriot 911's X account. Thank you guys for being here. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.
Coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, wanting just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rides, kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on windowsills so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.